Well, good evening all. I hope a few of you are joining us this evening. I know I completely forgot to put this onto Facebook and YouTube on our program to load it all up so that you knew we were coming. So I apologise for that. So hopefully it's telling me we're connected, so that's always a good start. Feeling 100 times better. All the yellow flowers have just about gone around us now. So if you watched our Facebook Live 2 weeks ago, you'd have seen what they were doing to me. And it wasn't fun. So if you are watching on either Facebook or YouTube, please just ping up a comment so that I know that I'm not on my own, which would be lovely. But if I am, I'll still do this and you can watch me later. So obviously there's not going to be any comments coming through. Don't you just love it? Oh, hi Jules. Oh, you're back in England, I hear, Jules. Hope you had a fabulous holiday. So that tells us YouTube is working. Oh, Facebook evening, Amanda. Hi, Carol. Yay, so I'm not on my own. That's always a good start. Hi, Eileen. Right, so where are we going to start? First of all, those of you that have ordered from us over the last week or so, 2 weeks since our last Facebook Live, and our launch of our new products, thank you so much. TV was mad. The website's been bonkers. We've got as many out as we can. We've got the last couple still to go through. Blimey, hi Sue. Hi Ruth. Hi Kathy. Hi Mum. Yeah, I think that was everybody. I don't think I missed anybody. Hi Eileen. Yeah, I think I've got Eileen already. And Carol. Yay, lots of you coming in. So we are going to get started. I've laid it out to show you what we're going to be using, but actually we probably should quickly run through. We'll go through what we're going to be using and we'll do it all at the same time, shall we? That would probably be the best way. Hi Carol, hi Pat. Dawn, it's been freezing. I have been out. I went out this morning. I had to go to the dentist. And I went out dressed like I've been dressed in the last few days. And came home and put a hoodie on and my fleecy socks and my big boot slippers, and it was freezing. So yeah, it's been a lot colder today. In fact, yesterday morning when we went out, the van was reading 23.5 degrees. And this morning it was reading 9.5 degrees. So that's the difference at exactly the same time. Oh, the joys of the UK, hey. Anyway, so we're going to get started. Right, so as usual, using our black cardstock and our white cardstock. Hi, Kathy or Catherine. And we are also using colour-wise today Peacock Feathers, Cracked Pistachio and Twisted Citron Distress Oxides. Hi, Tina. And hi, Tina. We're using our sticky glue, our crystal clear embossing powder, Versafine Onyx Black, and then, hi, Susan. And then we have some new colours of the clean colour pens. These three are available on our website. We've got some more being added shortly. So this one is called Lime Green and it's $4.09. Mint Leaf, which is $4.20. And Sea Green, which is $4.16. Just for your information. Right, so I'm going to just quickly pop these bits off to one side. And then we will come in with the new goodies. Quite where I'm going to put them right now, that's another matter. I found a drawer that we can prop them into for a minute. Bang, crash, wallop. Oh, Pat, that's nice. Who are they then? Somebody I might know? Hi, Michelle. I'm so glad it arrived on Monday, Michelle. So Michelle, a parcel arrived on Monday, asked to be delivered a week today. Right. So we are going to go in to start with our stamps. First off. So first of all, we've got the right word. So this is our newest release. Oh, lovely, Heather. I hope the weather's nicer there. Hi, Sarah. Right, so the right words say, happy birthday to you, birthday wishes, thinking of you with deepest sympathy on your special day, happy anniversary from my house to yours, new home, congratulations to you, sending a big hug. Then we have a Blissful Blooms, which you've got the frame. I'm trying to get that light not to bounce off it. If I go off one, it comes on the other. And then you've got the 3 flowers. These 3 flowers are the ones that are kind of hidden up, so you can add them on there if you want to. And we are using both of those two in tonight's demo. Then we have got Cosmic Floral, which is one large stamp. Excuse me, you will hear me coughing, I'm afraid. I haven't managed to get rid of that bit yet. Then we've got Blooming Frames. So we've got happy birthday wishes, congratulations, and get well soon. And they fit in this little section here. I'm glad to hear it, Sarah. That's what we like to hear, Michelle. Michelle says, yep, he's none the wiser. So hopefully he's not watching now, Michelle. Oh. So you get the really large, big stamp here, and then you get the 3 smaller flowers. Again, these 2 fit these 2 that are tucked behind, and that's just for simplicity. Oh dear, hopefully we'll give you lots of inspiration. Jules, I take it means the new pens you've just ordered. Picture Perfect. Jules, they will be a couple of days. It'll probably be Monday before they're out. They've been ordered. They are on their way. They just haven't made it to me yet. So they will be here probably Monday, knowing the company. Hi, Brenda. So we've got Picture Perfect. This one is proved to be the most popular, very closely followed by Cosmic Shimmer, closely followed by everything else. So Picture Perfect, you get this lovely frame, and then you get have a wonderful day, thinking of you today, happy birthday to you. And thank you very much, Angelina. We've got lots of new people springing up today. And then we've got Daisy Dreams. Again, this is one large stamp, so if I put it up against my hand, it gives you a rough idea of the size. The base that we work off is 6x4 inches, so that will give you an idea. And then we go on to our stencils. So this could well be my fault that these are in the wrong envelopes. So bear with me one moment while I just flip these round. I have got the splash in the splash and in the hearts and more, and the hearts and more in the splash, because this was the set I took onto TV, and they always take them out of the packaging, and I didn't put it back in the right packaging when I got back. So we'll just correct that quickly while I'm talking to you. And then, have we gone funny? No, it's just, it has nothing to focus on. Right. So, we have the splash stencil. Then we have our hearts and more stencil. Bear in mind, these are roughly 7x7 stencils, and we're going to be using this one tonight. We've got our icy window. This is proving hugely popular. And then our shooting stars. Again, massively popular. Hello, Leona. So that's everything of the new release that you saw us on TV with. So hopefully, and as I said, the ones we're going to be using in tonight's demo are Hearts and More, The Right Words, and Blissful Blooms. So we'll get started. I have prepped some of this ahead. Oh, no, I'm not going to go into them yet. I'm going to quickly show you the samples that the lovely Hazel made for us, bless her heart, because she was the only one we could get them to when we got these in. So Daisy Dreams, Hazel has done this one with Daisy Dreams and coloured with Copic markers, and the stencil she's used here is our lines stencil. Can you make the butterfly blue? I think that might be just answered you, Angelina. That's a bluey colour. You could, if you wanted to ink the butterfly blue, you'd just have to mask it to do it. That's the only way you're going to be able to do that, because it isn't individual. Then we have another one. This is using our Hearts and More stencil. And Hazel has embossed this, so I'll just catch it on the light and you can see. She's just literally popped it through an embossing machine. Right, good question, Amanda. So, Amanda has said, try to emboss my Hearts and More stencil. Oh, it worked and the embossing was great. However, the card surface, and it runs out of room here, was scratched and looked tatty. Should I have placed a sheet of paper over the top of this? That's exactly what you needed to do, Amanda. It's all the images. Bear with me. I'll grab my cutting mats. So, you will notice whenever you see me embossing, I'm coming down. I'm coming back, promise. Whenever you see me embossing, I always keep one die cut machine cutting mat clean. Doesn't get cut on. It's always cut. What you're seeing is all of these scratches that are on your cutting machine. So let me just take your message off. So if you had put a piece of paper over the top of it first, it would have protected this going through onto your embossing. It's a great question, Amanda, and hopefully that's answered it for you. So yeah, I always keep at least one of my, because I rotate them quite a lot. I have 3 or 4 sets, so I'm lucky that way. Good evening, Carol. Sorry, I missed that. Right, so Angelina, I'm a bit confused. She's put, oh, sorry, I thought you were Amanda. My bad. I am Amanda from Honeydew. Hopefully that makes sense. Right, again, back to what we were talking about. So this has been stenciled, used the stencil, put through a die cut machine with a silicone mat, or if you haven't got one of those, grab yourself a really thin piece of foam. The back side, the spongy side of a mouse mat would work, that kind of stuff. Anything that sort of thickness. And then this one is another lovely one using the right words at the bottom here and our Daisy Dreams stamp. Then we have another one here using Blissful Blooms, again coloured with Copic marker, and the sentiment is from Picture Perfect. Hi Liz. Again, fabulous bright colours. So this one is our splash stencil. The words are from the right words, stamped in Memento grey flannel. And she's used one of our older dies, which we no longer have, but if you've already got it, it's a great way of using it. The new, and it was called New Leaves. So it's just literally one die cut on there, masked off a bit of that stencil. Then we have another one using Blooming Frames. Again, coloured with, oh, not coloured at all, used a combination of different inks and stamped with black Memento on a 7x7 card. Again, a really nice card. And as I say, Hazel was the only one that we managed to get these to, so she worked like a little trooper for us, bless her heart. Another one using Blooming Frames, and she's coloured with Copic markers again. The next one, she's used the Splash stencil, dry embossed, and then brushed with blue inks. Yeah, and she's used our Wellies stamp, and the sentiment is from Blooming Frames. Evening, Viv. And she's actually popped the wellies onto some foam pads, so there's a little bit of dimension on there, which makes them look like you're walking. I love that one too, Tina. This one has got stencil paste on it. It's using Shooting Stars. And the stamp, the sentiment is from Shining Star with Honeydew Cast Gold Embossing Powder. Really simple, but I hope so effective. Then we have a floral, cosmic floral, and the sentiment is from Picture Perfect. We're whizzing through here a little bit because I want to get onto the demo as well, but these will all be available to see on our website as well. So this one is Picture Perfect, and the sentiment is also Picture Perfect, coloured with Copic markers. Excuse me. Carol the Stars is very popular. She's put, I love the stars. Perfect, Picture Perfect, and again coloured with Copic markers. Such a clean, simple card. And bless her heart, Hazel has now given me the sizes of her cards, which this one is a 6x6. 6x6 looks so tiny in comparison to an 8x8. It amazes me. And then last but not least from Hazel, we have got Cosmic Floral. Background is Hearts and More, and this Hearts and More stencil, and the sentiment is from The Right Words on a 7x7 card. So she's just used a white background that, again, she's run that Hearts and More stencil through the die cut machine to give it an embossed look, and then just an oval cut out with her own dies. And then we've got a couple that I did on TV. So this one is, I'm trying to just put them so that we can see they're not all one after another. Right, so we've got Blooming Frames and Hearts and More, and again I put this through a die cut machine. Hi Sue. You haven't missed that much, I promise. We were just showing sample cards. So I just put it through, and then I leave the stencil on and ink it before I remove the stencil. Sarah, you might be a busy bee with all of that if that's what you got your eye on. Then we have got Picture Perfect and Icy Window. And I've literally just done this with 3 different colour inks through the stencil. Now with this stencil, there are a couple of wiggly bits, so you may need to hold them. Or if you can tell by the way I've done this, I've inked it brushing downwards, which means sometimes you get a little bit more ink in certain places. But I still think it gives it a really good effect. Then we have Hearts and More. Do you think I like the Hearts and More stencil? Hearts and More stencil and Daisy Dreams. Hi Kirsty. And we're going to have a mix up here because they're all the same. So we've got Cosmic Floral and our Shooting Stars. And the sentiment is from The Right Words. So these are all the samples that I did on the TV, so you will be able to pop back and see them. Then we have got, I didn't use the splash very much. So this is the one that you saw me do last time. We did Facebook Live. So we've got a Splash, Daisy Dreams, and The Right Words on there as well. Then we have Hearts and More stencil next, and Blissful Blooms. And then I'm going to be doing this tonight as well. Just cut out an extra flower and pop that bottom one up, which just gives it a bit more dimension. Then a really simple one. So this is our Icy Window. Again, I've embossed this one like you saw me do with Hazel. Oh, sorry, you saw Hazel do. And then our thank you stamp on there. It's an older stamp. And then last but not least, our Blissful Blooms. And again, the sentiment is from The Right Words. So with this one, I've kind of turned it around. So you've got the bigger one on the top corner here. So there is no right or wrong way to how to use these. And it's all one dimension. So that, if you did it on a slightly smaller card, because this is an 8x8, but you could take it down. I mean, you could take this right down to a 5" by 4, which is what we're using tonight. And it still gives you room. So you could even go even smaller than that. And you could actually fit this whole thing onto a 6x6 card. I have a funny little, I think it was a Gemini. Pat's asking, anyone tell me what embossing mat they use in the Big Shot Plus? Here we go. So, Pat, this is the one I use, and I have a feeling it was from Crafter's Companion, but I'm not 100% sure. It could have been like Kit and Caboodle or anything like that, but it's probably about 5mm thick. Evening, Jill. So hopefully that gives you a rough idea, but if you've got a mouse mat, something like that you're using on your computer, that would work too. So long as this is about the thickness I use, and then it's just playing about. Hello, Carol. How are things? So those of you that don't know, Carol is our lovely design team member who's now the proud mum of the lovely Sophia, who's a fabulous big sister to her 2 twin boys, Noah and Jacob. So anyway, that's all of the sample cards done. So we can now move on. So if anybody can help Pat with where they get their embossing mats from for the Big Shot Plus, which is like an A4 size, that would be great. Right, so we're going to get on to doing this demo now, otherwise we'll still be here at midnight. So what are we needing tonight? We are needing, first of all, we're working on an 8x8 card. You need a black piece, which is 7.5 inches square. You need a white piece, which is 7 1/4 inch square. You need another black piece, which is 7 inch square. Then you need a white piece. This is a random size. 6 3/4 by 6 1/4. It will make sense. And then I've got to go on to the next page. Then you need a black piece, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. And I'm using a piece of watercolour card. I have done it in both, on water and colour card and on our Super Smooth, so I can show you both, but I am preferring the watercolour on this one. So we have a piece of watercolour cardstock, only a small piece, 4 by 5 inches. And then you need a little bit of scrap to cut the flower out. I'm not going that far down, just whatever you've got laying around is all you need. So let's take these off and this off, and we'll get started. Bear with me. I have this, my seat's a bit of a nightmare, because for me to fit in the camera, I have to have it really low, but when I'm crafting, I can't have it as low as I do. So I have to keep moving things around, and I didn't unblock my glue before we came on, so bear with me. Oh, doesn't appear to have been blocked. Who knows? We might have got lucky. So, like I always do, I'm going to stick these 2 pieces together out of the way. And as I said, I have prepped some of this earlier, so you might not see me do all of it right from start to finish, but hopefully you'll see me do most of it from start to finish. Right, then we are going to go on to our, I think this, did I say this was 7 1/4? The next size down in white. I'll get our inks out. And our brushes. Oh, of course, I forgot to mention we're using our blending brushes. Right, so I think I'm going to go with the middle colour for this, and I'm literally just going to ink all the way around the edge. This is probably one of the hardest bits of the card today. As you all know, I don't do hard. My cards are never difficult to do. I try not to make them too difficult to do. I had it in my head what I was going to do tonight, and this is not what I started out planning on doing at all, but it's what we've ended up with, and that's quite funky, so we'll give it a go, see what you all think. Right, and then I'm going to stick this one down, purely because it's got 3 pieces became 1. As you know, I like to get those out of the way. What is the 3 circle stamp called? Cosmic Floral, Kirsty. The Cosmic Floral stamp set. I'm assuming that's the one you mean. Let me grab it. This one is called Cosmic Floral. I think that's what you mean. Right. So that's those pieces out of the way. So, where are we going next? You can actually get 4 pieces out of it, but I'm no, don't do that, Amanda, don't do that. Carol, how's Martin? Amanda, no, Christmas is not the next release because our TV show is before Christmas releases. We are on the weekend before Christmas, so it will be the release after that that is Christmas. So bear with us. It's coming, I promise. Just getting all that excess ink off my mat. Just allow that to dry for a couple of seconds. So how is Martin doing? So we did physio, or he did physio yesterday for the first time. Probably not quite the news we were expecting. Probably not going to be able to drive for probably another 6 to 8 to 10 weeks. Probably will still be in the boot for about another month-ish, if not longer. But all is good. He had movement in it. He's got the exercises to do, and we will just get it working as quick as it can. The scary thing is they did say to us that if it had been a full rupture, they would have expected to take about a year to heal. Amanda, only 32 weeks, the big day, good grief. So thankfully they think it was just a partial rupture and maybe not going to take us quite as long to heal as 36 weeks. There is no right or wrong way for this. So we're working on that piece. That's the odd size. Is it, where are we? 6 3/4 by 6 1/4. It's going to go up so that this way around. There is no right and wrong way on this particular stencil, but if you work with a stencil that has got a right and a wrong way, you need the long side up, or you need the long sides almost is portrait. If I turned it around that way, because one side's shorter than the other, we're landscape, so we need to put it portrait, purely because we're going to cut it up and we're going to put gaps in between. That's why. Oh, Carol, have you found me a link? I think it was Pat that was asking. So Pat, grab that link while you can. If you can't see it, I don't know if it will transfer up. No, it's got rid of it. So it says Sizex products, Big Shop Pro accessories, premium crease pad standard. I think it was Pat that was asking, wasn't it? Thank you very much, Carol. Carol's my organised lady. She has she knows where everything is. Even with twins and a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. How is Sophia 4 or 5 now? I think she's 4, nearly 5. Right, so we're going in with Twisted Citron, and we're just going to blend that one through. And I say this all the time, but if you're not particularly confident with blending, then stenciling is a great way to get used to it. The other thing you need to remember, if you've got a size paper that is smaller, you can. Yes, Carol, you can buy them all over the place. If your paper is smaller than your stencil, remember and you're using a magnetic board, you need to hold the paper down with the magnet, not just the stencil. Remember that. So don't be doing that, because you're not going to hold that paper and that paper will move. Then you'll curse it. So we're just going to ink this all up. As I said, I have done some of this head, but I've even stuck it all down. Oh no, chicken. Carol, you're just not getting a break, are you, love? Oh, good grief. Chicken pox. Oh, I hope she's feeling better and not too rough with it. Chicken pox can be wicked. So long as the boys don't get it at the moment, Carol, that's fingers crossed. But I suppose if they do, you'll get it all out of the way in one hit. The joys of children, not just toddlers. She's not a toddler now, she's a big girl. She's a big sister. Right. I'm not blending this hugely well because I'm trying to get them finished to show you. So make it as heavy or as light as you want it to be. I'm probably going a little bit lighter than I would normally go. But, oh, Carol, bless your heart. You are not getting a break at all. I hope you're feeling better. And I hope my mum's got her timer set. Have you, Mum? Right. And I'm just going to quickly pop back through there with that colour there to blend those two in. Otherwise it was going to be a bit of a line there. Sorry, my table was bouncing a bit then, wasn't it? Right, so just double check by taking 2 away. Yep, that will be perfect. And there we have it. Clean, simple, easy. That looks yellow on there, but that is definitely green. Right, so I'm just going to wipe my mat off before I put that down. So that's my magnetic board out of the way. And as you all know, I don't like to waste the ink that's on these, on the stencil. So we're going to grab my card and I'm going to open the inside. As you can see, I was trying it out with a different colour yesterday and I put it on the wrong card. So we'll just ink over it rather than waste that ink. Who knows what combination we'll get now, hey? Oh well, not great, but it makes some sense. Right. So my top tip for cleaning stencils, if you haven't already seen it, I keep a piece of scrap paper of kitchen paper and either a wet wipe or a cloth, whatever you are using. For speed, I've just grabbed some wet wipes tonight. I have definitely gone over to more crafting and cleaning with a cloth that I can just chuck in the washing machine. Definitely more like it. Carol, yes, it is for dinner. Because my mum gets hooked up in her games and then forgets that she's put stuff in the oven. So she now sets her timer. See, all the secrets come out, hey. I could smell it, that's why. Right, so that's the stencil cleaned. That's our paper stenciled. And now we are going to cut it. This is the crazy bit. There are no sizes. So just as many strips as you want. It's a random size, so try and not make them too perfect in size. You just got to cut the whole sheet up. Don't make them all the same size. It's much more fun if they're a bit random. But better if they're straight. That's all I would say. So now your stencil's shredded to pieces. You're going to take that piece of black card that you have got here. And this is why I said it was a random size, because we're going to position these on here. For some reason, my piece of cardstock is bowed. Good job I've done that already, isn't it? And we're just going to line these up. Now, putting this together, I would recommend using a wet glue. Or if you're going to use tape runners and things, probably one that's not quite so not so sticky, or one that kind of is repositionable for a certain amount of time, and then you can put it down. So you're going to stick those down like so. However, that turned out to be quite even, really, didn't it? Never mind. I would stick these two down first and then work in, purely because then you've got your spacing around the edge, which will match the spacing around your edge here. So you're going to line your top and bottom up, do your two on the outside first, and then just go for it. And you will hopefully end up with something that looks like that. I wasn't far out with that, completely random. So you'll end up with something like so. Those pieces all stuck down. I'm not doing it now because, as I say, it will take me a few minutes to do that. And we've got more important things to do than watch me stick a bit of paper down here. So that piece can now, if you want to, be stuck onto here. Now, the one other thing I should have mentioned earlier is if you want to, because we're using watercolour cardstock, And it is unfortunately quite cream in comparison to the white cardstock we use. If you wanted to, you could ink around the edges of these pieces too. I didn't, but that's your choice. Just giving you a tip if you wanted to. So I'm going to stick this piece down now. It might also be quite funky if you put a couple of them up on foam pads if you wanted to. That'd look quite cool too. So now we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces to one. We love it when a plan comes together, hey. And now we are going to do some stamping. Finally get to the bit we like. Oh, not that I don't like it all, but you know what I mean. June, I would love to say I enjoy lots of other crafts, but I know I don't have any time. I did start out originally crafting cross stitch, and then I moved on from there. My mum started card making one summertime, and I was off sick. And believe it or not, I was off sick from the Ministry of Defence. If you haven't already heard the story, and it was when Create and Craft first started. So what we're on 20 plus years ago, and that's how I got hooked. And I started off with a little box like you all do, and ended up with 3 shops and then my own range. So yeah, a wild ride. So lots and lots of little light taps all over. We are going into watercolor cardstock, which is quite textured, even though it's a smoother finish. It's quite a fibrous paper, so be aware that you may not always get a perfectly smooth finish with watercolor card, and doesn't matter if you don't. That was my chair squeaking as we stand up. It's a big stamp, so give it the time to let the ink soak through, and because we're on watercolor cardstock and we are using embossing powder, it will take a couple of minutes longer to heat. Right, fingers crossed we've got that all in. Not like it was on the telly. Did you see me? Kathy, once you start colouring, you don't stop. So there's our stamped out image. If you did see me on the telly, we had glue on the board, on the countertop, and every which way I moved with the stamp, it was catching the glue. So we cleaned it for the second show. So crystal clear embossing powder all over. A little light tap to take the excess off and pop that in here. Shouldn't do that in my own house, should I? Or what, swipe it onto the floor. Oops. Right, heat tool. So you'll like this one, Kathy, if you like colouring in. So we are just heating from underneath because we are colouring it in, and it does make it a little easier to colour if we do it from underneath. And it does get hot, particularly on the smaller pieces, so mind your fingers. Thank you, Sarah. I love playing with this stamp. It's a really nice one if you like layering up. Hence we gave you the extra size stamps to be able to do that. Right. And then you're going to just give that a little bit of a wiggle. And you've probably all heard me say this, but if you can leave it for a little while and let it relax, it's had a lot of trauma just been having it bottom heated up. So just give it a little bit of time if you can. If you can't, you can't. So we are going to be using our clean colour pens. As I said, the 3 new colours that we've got on our website at the moment. We have more coming. Lime green, mint leaf and sea green. And I've just got a little paintbrush here. I'm using it with a paintbrush because the blending brush is still completely unavailable to me. I believe we've just got another supplier within the UK that I'm just going to be chasing up. So you won't get quite as strong a blend. No, Sarah, it never does get boring. Sarah says heat embossing never gets boring. I don't think any of us get bored of doing heat embossing. So I'm just layering a little bit of the colour down. And then with, it's not a soaking wet brush. Just with a wet brush, I'm going to pull that colour out. Now, I need it a little bit wetter than that. So it won't be as strong a colour if you do it with water as it would be if we were doing it with the blending brush. But top tip is once you wet it, you can go back in and move that colour around again. So with it being watercolour cardstock, you can go in and make it over it a couple of times because the cardstock can handle the water rather than our smooth cardstock, which doesn't particularly like the water, and that doesn't really show up at all. It's bright green. Look at that. But the other way you can do it is by scribbling onto your craft mat, taking your brush, again, not too wet, pick up that colour, and we'll go in here. And it will come through slightly stronger again. And again, you can go back and go over the top of it again. And that will bring it through slightly stronger. So that's the lime green. And then we have got sea green next. And we're going to do it this way. Pick up that colour. And we'll go here. And we'll pop a little bit more colour on there. And you can pull that colour out with that brush. It will actually naturally start to pull itself out once that paper is wet. And that is the sea green. And then we will do one more flower in the last colour, which is mint leaf. And again, we'll pick that colour up. I'll go with the biggest one we've got here so you can see it. I'm trying to get it to stand out for you. So obviously you're going to spend some time colouring this in. I don't have hours and hours to do that. But at least you get to see the 3 new colours that are on our website. I then popped in my sentiment in the middle. Again, I'm not going to go in and do all of that now because I've already got one done and I've already got it coloured in. So remember that top tip I gave you about inking around the edges of your card? So I've inked around the edge of this one with our Twisted Citron, just to stop the creaminess of that embossing of that watercolour cardstock. And I've also stamped another one, and I'm sorry, Amanda Bacon, we have a little bit of fussy cutting. Oh, don't look how old my hands look there. So just stamped, embossed exactly the same way onto watercolour cardstock, and just fussy cut out just one flower. I'm going to grab that final piece of black cardstock and we're going to layer these up. So as I said, I did this earlier. I would ideally like to have left it a little bit longer to stick down, but we don't have that option. Once I've stuck this and we've popped it on the card, I will show you what it's like on watercolour card, oh sorry, on normal, our super smooth cardstock as well, so you can see if you haven't got watercolour cardstock. That wasn't straight, was it? Oh, good grief. It's because my watercolour is not quite flat yet for me. There we go, that's the best it's going to be. Sarah, we have got 3 on the website at the moment. The rest of the new colours are coming. They are on their way to us. I just didn't have time to get the others on the website yet. So if there's any particular colours you're after, give me a shout and I will let you know whether we've got those ones coming in. So we just pop that flower on there, and then we're going to take that card base. Now it's up to you. You can go on perfectly straight if you want to, which is what I would normally do. You can go off to one side slightly, or you can go on the hoof, which I think is where I'm going to go today, which is not like me at all, I hear you all say. Before I do that, I just want to show you what it's like. I haven't put the sentiment on, what it looks like on the white card. So we'll flip that over and you can see it on the white card. Again, you could ink round and pop your, and you've got the flower in there as well. But the colouring, the blending is just not quite the same. That was my only reasoning. I did all the colours in exactly the same way. I did, and the only reason I did it like I did it was because I didn't really like the way it coloured. And that's completely personal choice. So we'll pop this on here. And pop it on the scriff. How's that looking? Okay, that's where it's going. Decision made. And that's our finished card. So obviously the only bit that you haven't seen me do is finish colouring in these flowers and sticking the green down. The pieces were already cut and it probably took me, what, 25 minutes, half an hour? So yeah, it's not rocket science, so to speak. We're going to come in there and pop that up there. So you can live stream us on Facebook and YouTube, and all the products that we show on here are available on our honeydewcrafts.co.uk, or if you're overseas.com. Both will work. And I'm going to ask you to do this. If you have enjoyed our video today, please like and subscribe on our YouTube and Facebook pages. We would really love it if you could do that. Right, that's all the formal bits done. Oh, see, look, I told you I have to have the chair up higher when I'm crafting, but I have to lower it down to talk to you, otherwise you lose the top of my head because I'm only little. Right, so hopefully you all enjoyed today. So we'll just quickly show you the 2 or 3 product cards that we used. Oh, cards, where did that come from? 3 new products, new releases that we used. So we have used, for making this card, let's clear a bit of space and we'll flip it back around again. No, we won't, obviously. So we've got, this is the card we've made. We've got Hearts and More stencil, The Right Words, and Blissful Blooms stamp set. Margaret, I see you're joining us. Did I read somewhere that you have been poorly with the COVID word? Hopefully it was, if it was you, you are feeling much better. Pat, you enjoy your weekend and your time away with your daughter. Hopefully you've enjoyed this evening. Not quite as quick and as messy as last week. Thankfully I didn't have to sneeze all the way through it. Yeah, so if anybody's got any questions, as I said, the new pens will be coming, will be hopefully here either tomorrow or Monday. Tuesday at the very latest, knowing this company. Glad you've enjoyed the Facebooks. Those of you who are commenting, thank you very much. Remember, like and share our Facebook and YouTube pages. We'd greatly appreciate that. Anybody's got any questions, please, you can email us on Facebook, via Facebook, or you can, I've got some information to give you here somewhere, but I'm trying to find it. You can get us through Facebook, or you can message us through our email, honeydewcrafts@gmail.com, or you can get us on YouTube. Feel free to ask any questions, and I always say it, no question's a silly question if you don't know the answer. So our next Facebook Live will be Thursday the 29th of May. Oh my goodness, where is this year going? We've got a bit of a break from the retail world for the next few weeks, which I desperately needed. No more loading or unloading of the van for a couple of weeks. My poor shoulder will be very happy that that's stopped for a little while. So our next show is Saturday the 7th of June, and it's a Saturday. Oh, Margaret, sorry to hear you've been so poorly. It is rough. I got it once about 3 years ago, and it really wiped me out. So fingers crossed you're on the mend now. So we are at Craftorama in Kent on Saturday the 7th of June. And then we are on TV, Hobby Maker TV, on Saturday the 14th of June at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. That's a big gap in between for us, isn't it? And then we are back at Craftorama again at a brand new show in Bolton. So if you want information on that, pop on our website, go on to events, and it's on there. And that's on the 22nd of June. So June will be picking us up again. May is a nice little bit of downtime. You will get lots of information from us through Facebook and through YouTube and through emails. If you want to join our email list, please pop on the website. There's a link at the bottom there that you can join that for. So I think that's everything. I hope you all have a lovely evening, and I hope you all enjoyed making the card, or enjoyed me making the card. Come in the middle there. Again, the colours we've used for the Distress Oxides are Twisted Citron, Cracked Pistachio and Peacock Feathers. Have a lovely evening, everybody. We will see you all soon. If anybody needs anything, you know where we are. Take care.